Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, it's story time. But before we get started, if you're new, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. But if you're not, go ahead and hit that like button. This story is about to get real interesting. So, the story I'm about to tell you is when we went to NTC. So, I was 18 at the time. This was my second year in the Army. I'm fresh to the unit, and we get told we're about to deploy. They never said where to. So we get sent to NTC out there in California, Fort Irwin, I believe, and then we got placed in the hot box. 2 weeks. I want to say it was 2 weeks. But so we get out there, and I'm just looking around like, oh, just sightseeing. Like, you see the mountains, you can see everything, right? And so we get to our tent. Next thing you know, we get sent to the hot box. We set up everything, cots, vehicles, sign for all the equipment, pretty much get ready for training, right? So let me just start off by saying this. I've never driven a military vehicle. All right. So I get assigned a Humvee, right? So I'm like, cool. I seen this all in the movies and games. I'm like, oh, I bet this mug dope, right? I'm excited to drive. So the platoon sergeant, he gives everybody a job. It's like, you're a gunner, you're a dismount, you're a driver, you're a driver, you're a dismount, etc., etc. So he put me in his vehicle. So it's me, the platoon sergeant, the medic, the gunner, and for some odd reason we had an extra soldier with us. So they're like, all right, you sign for your vehicle, go out there and PMCS it.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
At the time, I didn't know what PMCS meant. So I was asking around. I was like, yeah, just go out there and see if everything works. Lights, engine oil, everything. Just check everything, top to bottom, air pressure, all that. In the middle of me PMCS in my vehicle, I'm like, yo, how you turn this on? I didn't ask. I was trying to figure out myself, because like people, they got tired of me asking questions. So I'm like, okay. So it says start. Okay, so turn the knob, right? Turned it. Turn it again. Bro, why ain't it cutting on? So I get out. I had asked somebody on my team. They're like, yeah, bro, just turn the knob and it should start. So I'm like, I did that. So I went back to the Vic, and then I turned it again. I'm like, all right, now it's starting to piss me off because it's not cutting on. Everybody else's vehicle turning on. My platoon sergeant over there, I can see him. He's like, I can just, you know, when you can look at somebody, they're like, what the hell is he doing? So I turn it again. It's not budging. Turn it a little bit more. I'm like, okay, now we get somewhere. Maybe it's just stuck. So turn it again. Snap. Why did I do that? So that is like, it's pretty much, I just broke the key to turn on the vehicle. I didn't know that at the time, so I was like, yo, went back over there to my team leader. I'm like, yo, Smith, like, bro, what is, you said turn the knob. I turned it and it broke. He's like, oh shit. So we went to the platoon sergeant, and then the platoon sergeant's like, take him to maintenance. Take him to maintenance. Took me to maintenance. I'm like, yo, I was trying to turn the vehicle on, and it just snapped. They're like, I've never seen anybody just break a key like that. You have to like really be turning. I'm like, yo, this is my first time even being inside a Humvee. I don't know nothing in this truck. So he's like, all right, come here. He showed me the correct way on how to PMCS and turn a vehicle on. So they gave me a new vehicle. So thank God that we didn't load anything, any sensible items in there, because then we have to unload that, put it in the new truck. I'm like, bruh. I'm just glad nobody loaded anything in there yet. So I get the new Vic, PMCS, and then I turn the vehicle on. I'm like, all right, we all good. So that took like the longest time getting a vehicle switched over. I'm gonna say like an hour or two. So we were like super late. And then the platoon sergeant, the gunner, and the other soldier, they finally got a Vic. They're like, are we good to go now? I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Like, I'm waiting on you. So he's like, slam the door. And then he's like, do you remember what we're supposed to be doing today? I'm like, yeah. Training? I mean, that's not a wrong answer. So you can't get mad, because that's what we're here for. We're here to train. And so I think we're supposed to respond to contact, or somebody up front, they gets hit by a Vic or something like that. I forgot what it was. But so we're driving. So we had to start like around 9 because we were late. So we're driving. So it's me, the driver, platoon sergeant, the gunner, 2 people in the back. So I'm driving, right? And he's like, Paul, keep your spacing. Keep your spacing. I don't know what that means. I have no clue what that means. So I'm like, I'm just keep doing what I'm doing. He's getting upset. I'm talking about he's turning red. Plus it's hot. The air don't work. So I'm driving. And then he's like, Paul, keep your spacing. I'm like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna figure this shit out. So I just let off the accelerator. And I just cruising. It's like, there you go, there you go. Now you're getting the hang of it. I'm like, so you want me to stop? He's like, no, I just want you to go at a certain pace because you're scanning the road. I'm like, scanning the road? What do you mean scanning the road?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So he's like, next time, you need to be scanning the road. Because just because we're in the very back, that doesn't mean everybody else in front of you is paying attention. You need to be having your eyes on the road for your own well-being. So I'm like, oh, okay. I got you. So after that, so I got a full kit. So I'm driving, and it's hot, so I'm leaning back. I got my dark upper on because it's sunny as shit. And so I'm driving, and then I look over to see if he's woke, because he kept nodding off. So I'm like, yeah, I'm also getting comfortable, you know what I mean? So I'm slouching back, and then next thing you know, strike 3. Nodding off. Looking up, see if he's looking at me. Nope, sleep. So I'm like, all right. Driving, sleep. Fell asleep driving. Oh my gosh, why did I do that? Right? So when I fall asleep, I heard on the radio, it was like, halt, stop. And then it was like, we got a hill coming up. So I woke up, I slammed on the brakes. Everybody in the truck was like, damn, oh shit. Because when I stopped, everybody was like, poof.
I think I see myself.
So everybody slams forward, which causes the platoon sergeant to wake up, and then he's like, all right, oh, what they say? I'm like, they said it's a hill or something. So he's like, all right, so why they call it halt stop? I'm like, I don't know, they just said it was a hill or something. So he gets on the radio, he's like, keep going forward. So goes back to sleep. And then as I'm going up the hill, I'm nodding to sleep again, man. So as I'm going up the hill, next thing you know, I'm in a deep sleep, like, cause I'm cruising. So the truck is just hitting every rock slowly. I'm like, okay. Nah. Next thing you know, all I hear is roll over. And then the platoon sergeant reaches over to me and then starts turning the wheel. So I'm like, yo, what are you doing? Get off the wheel. He's like, roll over. So he's steady turning the wheel his way, and I'm trying to turn it my way. I'm like, yo. So he's like, get off the wheel. So I'm like, yo, what are you doing? I'm driving. And then he told me to put it in park, put the emergency brake on. And then next thing you know, he's like, you almost killed me, the gunner, the medic, and the other soldier in the back, including yourself. You're fired. Hey. So he got on the radio, he's like, halt, stop. I need a new driver. So I'm like, no, man, it's not my fault. It's really not my fault at all. Just for the simple fact that if you think about it, he's supposed to be woke. The gunner can see everything in a whole 360. The medic that was sitting on behind the platoon sergeant, I understand the windows may be dirty, but you can still see. It's not necessarily the medic's fault, but I personally blame the platoon sergeant and the gunner. Mostly the gunner, just because he can look over and see everything. But I mean, when he had put the vehicle in park, he had opened his door, and he was like, yo, you're not even 3 inches from driving off a cliff. I'm sleepy at the time. I'm like, damn, man, that must suck. I don't even know what to say. He's like, okay. Anybody else got a license to drive a Humvee? And the funny thing was, nobody else was licensed to drive a Humvee. So he's like, turn the wheel to the left, go straight, and then turn it slightly back to the right and go straight. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm cruising, and then that was the end of it. But I mean, I didn't get smoked, just for the simple fact that me and him had a talk, and I was like, yo, I've never seen this vehicle before in person. Not in person. He's like, what do you mean you've never seen this vehicle? You didn't learn this in basic training? I'm like, no, I didn't learn this in basic training. All we did was build bridges. We've never seen no actual vehicles that we would use during deployment. And so he's like, okay. Well, now that you put it that way, it explains a lot. Like, you didn't know how to turn it on. We fixed that. But I mean, I personally take blame. I'm like, thank you very much. Cause I know it wasn't me who was about to kill everybody in this vid. I mean, it's me. It's like 50-50. More like my 10% and everybody else is 90. because everybody else should be woke. No, but after that, we just had a good laugh. I mean, we still talk about it to this day, just because, I mean, it's a near-death experience. But yeah, that's the time I almost killed some very important people. But hey, like this video, comment, what did you think? What was the funniest part of the story? You give it a thumbs up, but most likely, subscribe.